Today we're here to talk about digital fraud, different levels of sophistication, ways to recognize the attack, and how a network monitoring solution can automatically defend us. I'm Carrie Landry, Marketing Director at Rubica, and I'm pleased to host Riley Eller, also known as Caesar. He's a hacker turned good guy, and now he's Rubica's CTO, here with us to discuss this ongoing online threat.
Hi, Carrie. Thanks for giving me a chance to talk about this kind of internet pest.
Pest. I thought that fraud was more like a con game.
Well, that's how it starts. But once the trick works, it's perfectly easy to automate. Your web browser doesn't really know who your bank is, so it's perfectly happy to draw a banking website on a different URL that looks perfectly identical to the real one. That means one attacker can set up millions of attacks, making them more like a pest, a locust, than an individual threat.
So what does a malware attack look like to me, the victim?
Well, all of these attacks really come in the same way. They come in through email, SMS, or an online ad with messaging intended to produce an excited state. Examples are account balance negative, password reset requested, or concerning medical results, or anything else you see designed to enrage or scare you into immediate action. Then you'll see a link with helpful text that seems to provide some amount of calmness or certainty, like click here to cancel, get your results now, or log in to update security details is pretty popular. When you click that link, which of course none of us ever does, but if you click that link, then when you see a web page, you'll see a web page that looks like a specific branded site like Bank of America or Sony, and maybe you don't know that one of the O's is really a zero, and so it's not the real website. Every aspect of the site will seem normal, but you'll always land immediately with a username and password prompt to meet right in the center of the screen, because they know they only have a few seconds before your mind wakes up and realizes that something's wrong.
So tell me more about what's behind the malware attack. Like, what are the motivations?
It's always about money. They're either looking to get your email credentials, to reset your banking password, convince an accountant to wire money to a fake account, or install ransomware on your computer so they can force you to pay if you want to get your pictures of your grandchildren back. Like all organized crime, it's just about the money. These are the same mobsters have been running these crimes and scams for 20 plus years on the internet, and they're getting very hard for most people to detect.
So tell me more about how to hide from them, the cybercriminals.
Well, you could stop using communication apps, but that's obviously not going to happen. The truth is they don't care exactly whose money they get, so they shotgun every email address they can find. The silver lining here is they don't really know who you are, so you just need like a screen door to keep the pests out.
Why the analogy of a screen door?
Well, these attackers aren't very persistent, so we just need something to kind of have them bounce off and fail. Something balanced between effectiveness, transparency, and ease of use, like a screen door or a window screen that we use to keep the bugs out of our homes. We can't have a wall between us and the world. We need to have something that air can come back and forth through.
Okay, so tell me more about what these cybercriminal pests actually do.
Well, so with malware, they gain control of some users' machines, and they turn those machines into spammers to send trick emails and SMSs and so forth to the rest of us, trying to get us to click on a bad link. We then either become more malware victims, or we become financial victims, or one and then the other. All three of those steps can be stopped by network monitoring. And when you do that, it has a funny effect of causing the whole herd to gain immunity because there are fewer and fewer social connections that are unsecured.
So how can they do that? I thought my antivirus subscription kept me safe from cybercriminals and malware.
Well, antivirus can't stop malware because the malware authors have antivirus, and they can run an infinite variation of attacks until they find one that the virus scanner can't detect. So it's almost impossible to stop programs once they're downloaded.
If that doesn't work, is it actually possible to stop attackers from taking over machines?
Oh yeah. Network security systems can detect bad behaviors that malware exhibits, like spamming our friends, and raise alarms to get the problem shut down before people get hurt. Thanks to automation, that now only costs pennies a day.
But it still sounds like sometimes those spam mails get through. So how do we stop them from causing more harm?
The attack URLs are really easy to spot. Usually humans can tell and won't click on the link. But if I ever click on a malicious link, Rubica sees not only the click and has a chance to stop that before the attack ever succeeds, but also if somehow a new attack can get through, Rubica then will see the behaviors that go along with the infection. We'll be able to notice that and help you get the lingering infection resolved.
That makes sense. It seems like this approach is a great defense against phishing attacks, but what about spear phishing? Those attacks are crafted for a person and they're much harder to block.
Absolutely. Phishing and spear phishing are equal forms of online fraud, and they work identically to what I just described. The key difference between the attacks is that spear phishing involves targeting a specific user, learning a lot about them, their social network, learning a lot about their work environment, and then using all of those facts to craft very clever messages like regarding the accounting proposal 1341, Dan, please register on this site and give them our petty cash credit card number, Doris. In this case, the proposal number, Doris's name, and Dan's name are all learned before the attack. The attacker wants you to click. So the defense technology is really identical for phishing and spear phishing. Another example when this happens is people try to intercept home escrow transactions that can net hundreds of thousands of dollars just at the time when someone's purchasing a home.
Okay, so tell me more about how the attacks unfold.
Well, it used to be that, especially in the enterprise space, attackers would go straight at the corporation. But we found that it is an increasing, and now the primary attack goes through mobile device threat vectors. So the mobile device can be can have malware implanted on it, or even malicious applications, grayware, free games, kids games, and those applications can compromise other applications, steal private data, ransom files for Bitcoin, or remain dormant, waiting for the device to connect to enterprise infrastructure. And then from there, the attacker, the application, can pivot to other hosts from inside the network firewall, escalating privilege as they go, building target internal command and control infrastructure, or establish patterns of behavior intended to normalize what will later become attacks.
So are you saying that network defense is mandatory for personal devices?
Absolutely. More than half of malware attacks into the enterprise go right past antivirus software. Phishing and ransomware wouldn't be common terms if antivirus could protect them. Mobile device management, MDM, is better than nothing, but for a real sense of assurance that your device isn't secretly reporting to China or Russia or somewhere, then you need a network monitor. Laptops, tablets, phones, they're all kind of merging and changing functions, but on the underside, they all speak TCP/IP, the universal language of the internet, and that's the place where you can provide great security no matter what the device type is.
So you mentioned antivirus a little bit earlier, which is a different kind of security technology. So exactly what are the differences between antivirus and Rubica?
Antivirus tries to understand how software works, and that is a problem that's essentially impossible to there's a problem, a concept called the halting problem. Antivirus can't actually know whether software is malicious, and so it tries to decide whether certain behaviors are malicious, but good internet usage and bad internet usage look exactly the same to an antivirus. To Rubica, contacting Amazon is way different than contacting bankofamerica.russia. .ru. Those are very different websites and deserve very different attention. And so even antivirus has had to come up with an additional whole new technology to try to add network monitoring into their endpoint solution.
Thanks for that detail. So as we wrap this up, here's my takeaway. Rubica does a better job stopping fraud than antivirus ever could.
Absolutely. Fraud is a human problem. It needs human investigators, and it can't be deployed automatically to endpoints, or else the fraudsters will automatically know whether they're succeeding or not.
Great. Thank you, Riley. It's great to talk to someone who understands security from the outside in.
Thanks, Carrie.